A film opens not with a grand pronouncement, but with a cough. A wet, rattling sound in a dim room. The first thing we truly hear in Cabrini. It's a detail so intimate, so bodily, it immediately grounds this story of a saint not in the realm of the miraculous, but in the stubborn, fragile reality of the human frame. This is the central tension Alejandro Monteverde's film masterfully sustains. How do you depict a life of transcendent faith when your subject is tethered to a failing body, navigating a world of brutal earthly obstacles? The production of Cabrini itself was an act of faith. Director Alejandro Monteverde, following the monumental success of Sound of Freedom, chose not a blockbuster sequel, but this quiet period piece about Mother Frances of Xavier Cabrini. The film was shot largely on location in Buffalo, New York, and Rome, with a deliberate avoidance of green screen to preserve tactile authenticity. Cinematographer Gorka Gomez Andre, known for his work on The Bookshop, employed a palette that feels almost hand-tinted. Muted earth tones, the cold grays of tenement stone, punctuated by the stark black and white of the nuns' habits and the rare, fragile warmth of candlelight. This visual restraint is a conscious architectural choice. The film's world is one of enclosures and barriers, the walls of the convent, the gates of the orphanage, the imposing doors of government offices, the literal cliffs of the quarry where Italian immigrants break their backs. The camera often frames Christiana Dell'Anna's Cabrini within these confines, emphasizing not her power, but her containment. Her mission is to dismantle these walls not through force, but through a persistent strategic pressure that the film visualizes as a form of quiet excavation. Monteverde and screenwriter Rod Barr make a crucial narrative decision. They begin not with Cabrini's childhood or a defining spiritual moment, but with her being denied. The Vatican refuses her request to go east to China. They redirect her west to the savages of New York. This rejection is the engine of the plot. Her faith is not presented as a serene certainty, but as a redirected energy, a yes that must find a new shape after a no. It reframes her sainthood as adaptability, a relentless pragmatism fueled by divine purpose. The film's most profound theme is the redefinition of charity. In the grim Five Points district of 1889 New York, Cabrini encounters a charity of condescension, soup lines, and proselytization that demand cultural surrender. Her vision is different, not alms but infrastructure. She doesn't just want to feed orphans, she wants to build a hospital, an orphanage, a school, permanent institutions that grant dignity and agency. The film meticulously details her fundraising, her land negotiations, her political maneuvering. This is faith not as pietistic withdrawal, but as civic engineering. Christiana Dell'Anna's performance is the film's cornerstone. She plays Cabrini with a mesmerizing stillness. There are no grand speeches until absolutely necessary. Her power is in her gaze, unblinking, assessing, patient. She listens more than she speaks, absorbing the language of power, both male and clerical, to learn how to subvert it. Her physical frailty, the lingering cough from the lung damage that would eventually kill her, is never a weakness to be overcome by miracle, but a constant companion, a reminder of mortality that makes her urgency palpable. The production design, led by Carlos Lagunas, deserves special attention for how it builds this duality. The immigrant tenements are caves of shadow and despair, filmed with a handheld intimacy that feels invasive. In contrast, the spaces Cabrini creates, like the eventual orphanage, are defined by light windows or a recurring motif. The camera lingers on the process of transformation, scrubbing floors, repairing walls, letting sunlight into rooms long sealed. The miracle here is not supernatural, but communal and manual. A key relationship, often underanalyzed, is with the corrupt Tammany Hall politician Mayor Gould, played by John Lithgow. Their interactions are a masterclass in thematic conflict. Gould represents a cynical, transactional view of the world. He sees people as votes, land as capital. Cabrini speaks a language he cannot compute, one of souls and eternal value. Their stalemate is broken, not by her out-arguing him, but by her out-enduring him and appealing to a vanity he understands. Legacy. She offers him a chance to be remembered as a builder, not a boss. The film also subtly explores the tension within faith itself. Cabrini's most heated exchanges are not with atheists, but with her own church, with a cardinal who views her ambition as unseemly for a woman, and with the Roman hierarchy that sees her as a useful tool only when controlled. Her faith is orthodox, but its application is radically disruptive. This internal conflict gives the story its intellectual heft, moving beyond a simple faith versus secularism binary. Musically, composer Gene Bach avoids sweeping devotional strings. The score is often minimal. A solitary piano, a mournful cello line, emphasizing isolation and resolve. In moments of breakthrough, the music swells not with heavenly choirs, but with the determined rhythms of work and movement, mirroring the film's thesis that divine work sounds like the scrape of a shovel, the turn of a page in a ledger, the collective murmur of a classroom. Perhaps the film's most insightful sequence is its depiction of Cabrini's newspaper campaign. Understanding that power in America resides in public perception, she learns to use the media. We see her carefully composing letters, cultivating a reporter. This is not presented as manipulation, but as translation, translating the gospel imperative of caring for the poor into the secular language of justice and civic responsibility. She builds a bridge between the sacred and the profane marketplace of ideas. The conclusion of Cabrini is satisfying because it is not an ending, but a blueprint. We do not see her death or her canonization. Instead, we see the institution standing, filled with life. The final shots are not of her face in beatific peace, but of the buildings, the children, the city skyline now containing her hospitals. Her body failed, but her architecture endured. The film posits that the creation of spaces where love can operate systematically is the true miracle, the tangible evidence of faith. In an era of biopics that often flatten their subjects into a series of triumphs, Cabrini offers something rarer and more profound, a study in methodology. It asks us to consider sainthood not as a state of being, but as a quality of action. It finds its drama in boardrooms and construction sites, in the quiet persuasion of a weary woman who believed heaven could be built, brick by stubborn brick, here on earth. The film itself is such a brick, a thoughtfully crafted atmospheric argument for the power of stubborn embodied hope, leaving us not with a feeling of reverence for the past, but with a quiet challenge for the present. Thank you for watching until the end. We pour our passion into every single video essay, exploring the stories behind the movies we all love. If you stumbled upon this video by chance, there is a very high probability you might never see our channel again in your feed. So please, take a moment to hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and ring the bell. We are actively growing this community of cinema lovers, and your support is what helps us make our content better and more insightful every single day. Let's explore the magic of filmmaking together. See you in the next one.